Excuse me? Why are you following me? Well, I guess I have to make a video about this gimbal now. What do you think? Did I mention everything? Anything else? Quite sure. This will be tricky to edit. Was quite a rambly video, I guess. Well, this is a interesting setup, I guess. A makeshift studio in this art studio here. This is just a quick and dirty setup. Anyways, I want to talk about gimbals again. Hohem did send me their newest or latest top of the line gimbal. This is the MT3 Pro. I want to talk about my setup, how I use this gimbal. But if you are looking for an in-depth review video about all the features, this might not be the video for you. Quick disclaimer at first. Hohem contacted me and asked me if I want to have a look at this gimbal, use it for a while and make a video about it. And I said yes. No money changed hands. They don't have any influence in this video. They don't tell me what I have to say about this gimbal. I can make a video about it and that's it. Anyways, let's talk about it. As you can see right now, I have the a6700 on there and I have the Pro Kit here. I'll show you in a minute what comes with all that in a nice bag. So I have the briefcase handle set up here, but also I have a few more bits and pieces. Everything is linked below. I have a magic arm from SmallRig to connect my monitor because I like it that way. You can mount it everywhere. There are quite a few mounting points on here. And I also have this arm here, also a SmallRig handle. I got this for another gimbal. Didn't use it for that too much, but I really like that because I'm used to have a bigger setup, a bigger gimbal setup. I have two side handles and I really like that. I have to get used to the briefcase slingshot gimbal solution. Anyways, I have this side handle because that way I kind of can have it a little bit more stable, more options depending on how I move this gimbal, which is nice. So this is interesting. And also I mounted a little Arca Swiss down here to remove those feet quickly. And so I actually can use this on a monopod, for example. It's a little bit easier to remove actually. And since this gimbal is really lightweight, the extra bits and pieces don't really have a big impact. With my RS3, that is a bit heavy right out of the gate, so I try to have less stuff on there. But with this lightweight gimbal, it is really easy. And of course, I have this monitor arm here, and I'm using this old but trusted OC monitor because it's fairly bright and lightweight as well and small. So let's talk about other stuff. Yes, of course, this side handle can be used that way as well, which I sometimes do, even the other way around. I'm using it that way, as you can see. This is also quite nice. With that out of the way, let's talk about balancing this. This is really nice because it all is really smooth and easy, as you can see in this shot. It really is easy to balance. Everything is really smooth. You don't have to push too hard. You can precisely balance this. Also here, just this, and you have a little knob right there. So balancing this thing is really easy. All the mechanisms, all the lockings are really nice. You have knobs everywhere. It comes with the plate itself. Now, why I use the a6700 the most with this gimbal is basically the lens setup. Right now I'm using the Viltrox Air Lenses. I have the 15 on there, but I also have the 35 and 9mm lens to have quite a bit of range. The 15 is really nice, especially for social media stuff, but the 9mm is really my most liked gimbal lens. And since those are basically the same size and weight, I really don't have to rebalance the camera. I just can switch those lenses around. 35, for example, here to get a little bit tighter gimbal shot right there. Switching to a vertical setup is easy as well. You just remove this USB cable first, then you lose this knob and then just push this up here, and then you just slide it in like so. And there you go. Now you have to rebalance, of course, because now it's top heavy, but yeah, it is really easy switching from horizontal to vertical, just like so. Speaking of the HDMI and USB connections, I have this control cable here to basically control start, stop, focus and stuff like that with the USB cable with the camera itself. You can also remotely control everything with the Bluetooth option, which I normally don't do because especially on the a6700 battery life is really an issue if you have wireless connections going as well and overheating and stuff like that. So I tend to have cables with HDMI for the monitor and the USB-C to control start, stop, which is usually all I need, basically. Yeah, speaking of controlling this gimbal, you have this removable remote, which can control everything from this joystick, start, stop, and even the AI controls. As you can see, this is the AI gimbal camera. And with this Pro Kit, you have this little clamp, and this is how I usually have this remote or control thing going, so I can switch modes. So here we go. This is my setup here. And what I really like about this gimbal, which is basically my most liked feature, is not the AI, it's this joystick. So this joystick is basically the most satisfying and usable joystick that I used on a gimbal so far. It really is responsive and you can control this gimbal with this joystick so smoothly. And of course you have all the controls right there, the modes. I can switch that FPV style. Well, this is the mode I really use. You can also control it with this mode button, auto calibrate. You don't need any app for this. All the settings there, smooth, tight, fast, everything is there, custom setups, rotation, panoramic shots, time lapse. Most of the stuff I don't really use at all, but it's nice to have if you are looking for this, especially with like hyperlapse stuff. This can really help you, and it's all there in this little remote. You can set focus points here, stuff like that, A/B. You can control roll and stuff like that with a switch of a button if you like that. I really like to have the roll axis on this little knob here. Yeah, there's also this light on the front. You can control it with this as well. You can control the temperature of the light or the brightness. So it's long pressing this middle button right there to turn it on and off. So this is quite a long video, sorry for that. I really want to talk about that. Again, the artificial intelligence features are there, The camera and the module is built in right there. You don't need any extra module. There's the switch turning it on and off, so it's a physical button. So now I'm on the 15mm lens. So the camera does recognize my face, double tap, and then the green light on front of the gimbal also indicates that it is tracking me. Does it turn all the way here? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so I really wanted to test this follow mode. It works really well. As you can see here, it follows me quite well. I have it on this remote and the AI camera is following me. You can use gestures like having the stop sign, now it stopped, or if I make this, it should engage. And now it's object tracking. It is actually tracking this remote or this hand. Interesting. Overheating again, I have to stop recording. It's tracking my hand now because I double tapped on my hand. Interesting. So now it's tracking my face again, and I really wanted to have a few more test shots for this video outside, but yeah, our schedule is crazy and the weather outside is pretty bad. Here, let me show you. I'm taking this on the and yeah, should follow me around, but as you can see, maybe now it's tracking me, but the weather outside is pretty bad. Yeah, it stays on me, right? I'm walking. I should have chosen the 9mm lens. I'm not quite sure if my audio is actually still working because thick walls, and I have the microphone on this camera inside. I mean, now it's raining. I have to go inside. Not quite sure if my audio is still working. Camera is overheating, but the tracking seems to work really well. Right. Yeah, this is really nice. Even though this setup is a little bit heavier with this little remote and all that, yeah, it's pretty nice. Now, the only downside I'd say with this solution is because this uses a separate camera, it doesn't have the camera feed of the camera itself. The alignment sometimes is a little bit tricky, so you really have to rely on another monitor maybe to really see if your composition is great. So right now I'm not quite sure if the composition is really the best, because this is actually a wider angle shot of me, because it is the AI camera. So this is a little bit of a downside. Maybe there's a solution that I don't know, or there might be another solution to have the camera picture there, but then again, I think the AI module needs this camera in order to analyze the tracking. But again, the camera does a quite good job in terms of tracking. You have different tracking speeds and modes. You can customize this quite well. So if you really need that, it might be something that really works well. But again, this is something I don't really use that much or at all. Yes, of course, you also could track objects if you have a camera move in front of a car, for example, or something like that. You actually can track this as well. Usually I use that kind of tracking for a drone because I have too many stuff to control with a drone. Up, down, forward, backward, gimbal up, down. Keeping track of certain objects sometimes is a bit harder with a drone. So a tracking option for that kind of shot with a drone is something that I really use sometimes. But with a gimbal, again, I think I get smoother tracking shots by myself without any additional help, because sometimes I think this is not the smoothest depending on distance to the subjects and what lens you use. For me though, I really didn't use it that much. That's about it about this gimbal. There are so many options as well. In this Pro Kit you have quite a few other stuff you can connect. You actually have a focus motor you could use for this gimbal. You can control this with the side knob there if you like. I don't really have any manual lenses, especially for this setup, that I could try actually, so I didn't really use this. Yeah, it comes with this nice bag, really nice and well organized. You don't need to disassemble the gimbal. I mean, now that I have all those little pieces on there with the arm and the quick release plate on there, the Swiss plate, it might be a bit more tricky to transport this with this, or I have to disassemble a little bit more. But again, comes with a phone mount and this rod clamp and the focus motor right there. All kinds of adapters and cables to control stuff and power stuff. It really isn't cheap, so to speak. Comes with everything that you need. I really did get or asked for the Pro Kit because I really wanted the slingshot briefcase handle and this mount here for the remote. So that's why I've got the Pro Kit. But if you have like anamorphic lenses, especially that don't have any autofocus, this might be interesting because this is a full-on set. It comes with a rod mount. The power is basically coming from the gimbal. So you have USB-C ports there to power stuff. You have actually a clamp for an iPhone, which comes with this kit. It slides on just like so. So it's really easy to mount an iPhone, but it really also can handle the heavier setups like the A7S with a cage and a heavy lens. There was no issues balancing this. And yeah, you can kit it out as you like, especially since it's a really lightweight gimbal from the beginning, but it's well made, so it's not cheap at all. It feels really sturdy. It is really a great solution. So the only thing that is missing on this gimbal is basically the auto lock from the DJI RS3 and 4 and 4 and 3 mini and stuff like that. So really missing this. But again, the placement of those locks is quite intentional, intuitive. You don't really search for them. They are placed on spots which make sense. I had other gimbals where I always was looking for where is the... It really is intuitive. I didn't really have to think about this. So yeah, it's quite okay, I think. But would be nice, of course. Other than that, it is fine. No issues really. Controls work well. It remembers the settings. Balancing is really easy. The AI features are okay, I think. I'm not quite sure. I'm actually not really a user of those features anyways. So yeah, I can't really talk about too much about it, but it's nice to have. Gesture controls work well. The little remote is really nice and easy to use. But yeah, in the end, this is quite a good gimbal for a good price, and you can kit it out, as you can see, quite good. Nothing really missing other than this quick lock feature. Yeah, nothing really more to say, even though this was quite a long video and I didn't really talk about all the features, just the basics. It is really a usable and capable gimbal. Anyways, that's it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I might make a follow-up video. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what gimbal setup you use, what camera, what lenses, and maybe some accessory I missed that I could use on this setup, maybe to improve the monitor mount. And again, everything is linked below. I really like this setup. Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Back to work? No, it's really late. Back to home. Back to sleep? Back to sleep. Or to work? Who knows?